These days, I want a no-stress life. Which work? Person Grace Ringekoko says she got in touch with the DP of the said station. He informed her that a pregnant woman has been granted bail, but there had been no reasonable surety to facilitate the process of her release. People's Democratic Party has won all the 18 seats in the Edo State and local government election held on Saturday. Results released by the State Independent Electoral Commission revealed that the PDP has secured wins in all 18 local government areas, while the All Progressive Congress and the Labour Party were among the major political parties that took part in the election for chairmanship and councillorship of the wards. The full result shows that PDP scored 16,077 votes, while the APC scored 2,519 and the Labour Party scored 2,536 votes, according to the list of winners at the polls in Uhunwode local government area, Adodo O, Kenneth of PDP was declared winner in Owan West local government. Ahonsi Dixon Idojemu of PDP was declared winner in Akoko Edo local government. Tajuddin Alade Suleiman of PDP was declared winner, while in Etako East local government area, Ato Benedicta of PDP was also declared winner, as well as others. The Nigerian Union of Journalists in the Southeast Zone has frowned at the increasing spate of ritual-related killings in the zone and charged relevant security agencies to rise up to the occasion and stem the ugly trend. It cautioned the youth to jettison the get-rich-quick syndrome by engaging in meaningful ventures, as there are no shortcuts to wealth. A communique issued by the Nigerian Union of Journalists is on air for held at the NUJ Press Center in Benin City, Edo State, and signed by the Vice President, Comrade Opaka Dokubu, Zonal Secretary, Comrade John Angese, seriously frowned and strongly condemned the unwarranted violent attack on journalists carrying out their unlawful duties at Opunembe in Nembe local government area of Bayelsa State, and urged the law enforcement agency in the state to recover working tools of the journalists still in the hands of the hoodlums. The union called on politicians and other stakeholders in Bayelsa State to be guided by the rule of law and the need for peace and social harmony as they go about their activities before, during, and after the forthcoming governorship election in the state. The South-South Zone leadership of NUJ used the opportunity of the meeting to appeal to the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki and the Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu to resolve their current differences in the overriding interests of the good people of the state, while also appealing to the elder statesmen and women and other well-meaning stakeholders in Edo State to weigh in on the issue with a view to finding an amicable resolution of the disturbing development. The union had also urged members of the National Assembly from the South-South geopolitical zone to engage the Federal Ministry of Works and other relevant federal government agencies to find lasting resolutions to the deplorable state of federal roads in the region, particularly the East-West Road, the Calabar-Itu Road, Benin-Lokoja Road, Benin-Akure Road, Benin-Sapele-Wari Road, and others, too numerous to mention. The union further commended governors in the zone for recognizing the potentials of journalists by appointing some of her members into positions of trust in their respective governments, and sued for more appointments of professional journalists to handle media-related matters, especially for political office holders. The Nigerian Army has reassured the people of Imo residents of its commitment to restore nightlife and guarantee the security of lives and property in the state. The Commander 34 Artillery Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Obinzania Owerri Brigadier General Usman Lawal, gave the assurance during the inauguration of a joint night patrol task force in Owerri. Lawal said that there had been a rise in the spate of crime and criminality within Owerri metropolis, and the need to curb the trend, adding that the joint night patrol teams would bring their expertise, dedication, and unwavering resolve of soldiers, ratings, airmen, policemen, and personnel of other security agencies to the safety and security of lives and property of citizens of the state. He warned that personnel involved in the joint night patrols must remain professional and build much needed trust from the people, adding that any form of indiscipline would not be tolerated from the patrol teams, especially owing to the recent rise in armed robbery, kidnappings, and other related crimes at night. The military commander said it has become necessary, especially during this season of politicking and campaigns leading to the November 11 governorship election. Governor Hope Uzodimma, represented by the Commissioner for Homeland Security and Vigilante Affairs, Dr. Ugoji Okechukwu Ugoji, stated that the resolve of the security agencies to establish a joint night patrol task force was a welcome development that would ensure safety of lives and properties. Other than that, the professionalism shown by the security agencies brought about the peace so far enjoyed in the state. The governor has equally assured the state government's determination to continue to support the security agencies as they try to make Owerri metropolis and the entire state safe, while urging the people of Imo to support and volunteer timely information to security agencies so as to ensure that criminals are brought to book and the safety of lives and property guaranteed. Enugu State's Capital Territory Development Agency says it has confirmed the death of 4 children of the same family in a building collapse in agri quarters, Memena, in the coal camp area of the state. The chairman of the agency, Mr. Uche Anya, who disclosed this after inspecting the site of the collapsed buildings, said the bungalow located at the agri quarters in the coal camp area collapsed after a downpour. He said the structure, which was initially approved for animal husbandry, was converted to a residential building, lamenting that the collapsed building was not healthy for human habitation, while the structure had 44 rooms with about 200 residents. The police in Enugu State is yet to speak on the matter. The indigenous people of Biafra says the only way to save Nigeria is to release its leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is coming while condemning the Save Nigeria movement for criticizing the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee Chairman Obinna Agocha for his remark on Kanu. Lawmaker Obinna Agocha had called on the Nigerian government and the Department of State Services to release Kanu unconditionally from solitary confinement following an investigation by the ad hoc committee, while after much deliberation at the chambers on the level of insecurity throughout Nigeria, with emphasis on the southeast, the ad hoc committee chairman said the only solution to ending insecurity in the southeast is the release of Nnamdi Kanu. However, IPOB said the unguarded attacks and petition from a shadow-chasing group called Save Nigeria Movement against the Federal House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee Chairman Honorable Obinna Agocha for saying the truth about the illegal detention of Nnamdi Kanu shows the group is clueless. IPOB spokesman Emma Powerful accused Save Nigeria Movement of displaying their bigotry by casting aspersions on Agocha's image, adding that Honorable Agocha is a stakeholder in the Southeast and knows exactly the root cause of the insecurity in the Southeast. Police in Lagos State has arrested a suspected burglar who attempted to break into a bank in the Agege area of Lagos State. The police confirmed the arrest of the suspect and said that he was not arrested with any weapon but with housebreaking equipment, and destroyed some doors and tried to make his way into the bank when policemen arrived at the scene. The image maker in charge of the State Police Command, Benjamin Hundain, said the police got the distress call and responded swiftly. He also said investigation has commenced and the suspect will be arraigned in court soon. The Federal Road Safety Corps in Osun State Command says 6 persons have lost their lives in an accident that occurred in the Imesi-Ile Highway in the state. The sector commander, Henry Benamasia, who stated this in Oshogbo, said 2 vehicles had a head-on collision due to brake failure of one of them, resulting in the death of 6 persons. The command spokesperson, Mrs. Agnes Ogunbemi, in a statement said that an articulated vehicle without a number plate collided with another blue commercial truck on Imesi-Ile Hill, with casualties due to overspeeding, adding that 5 of the dead victims taken to the University Teaching Hospital in Osun by the Nigerian police before the arrival of the FRSC team. According to him, the accident involved 17 persons, with 11 escaping unhurt, while 6 others lost their lives, and charged road users to drive defensively in order to prevent any form of accidents, while advising drivers to drive with caution and ensure their vehicles were in perfect condition before embarking on any journey. Men of the Kwara State Fire Service has recovered the corpse of an unidentified 43-year-old man who drowned in a fish pond in Ogidi, Ilorin West local government area of the state. This is coming after the firemen received a call from a Good Samaritan that a man had drowned in a fish pond in the area. The head media and publicity Ilorin Fire Service, Hakim Adekunle, in a statement said the firefighters conducted the rescue operation and tragically discovered the lifeless body of an unidentified man, approximately 43 years of age, in an abandoned fish pond. The statement said the cause of the unfortunate incident occurred when the man accidentally slipped into the pond, which was concealed by overgrown grasses, and drowned to death. The Kwara State Police Command is yet to make any statement on the matter. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, has assured 99% support and victory as as the electorate in Kogi State prepares to file out for the governorship election on November 11. Ganduje disclosed this while addressing APC members and supporters at the official inauguration of the party's national and state campaign councils for the November 11 governorship election. He expressed hope that the people of the state would massively vote for the ruling party because the state is a traditional APC state, adding that the state campaign committee will join hands with the national campaign committee and the LGS campaign committee to ensure victory at the polls. He told the residents that President Bola Tinubu had promised to provide an enabling environment required for peaceful and credible conduct of the governorship election. Also speaking, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello said the citizens of Kogi were all ready to cast their votes for APC, given the choice of a credible and articulate candidate of the APC governorship flag bearer that is politically well-groomed with the needed experience and competence to lead Kogi to the next level of its development. The former heads of state, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida and General Abdul Salam Abubakar, are urging the Senior Executive Course 43 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, to promote democratic ideals. They disclosed this at the maiden reunion of the Alumni Association of SEC 43 2021 in Abuja, tagged Getting Things Done, embracing memories of foreign futures, reuniting hits and forever entwined with the SEC 43 2021. Babangida, in a goodwill message read by a member of the cause, Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, Director, Department of Development Control, Federal Capital Territory Administration, described the promotion of democratic ideals as a national call and the need for collective effort in stabilizing the polity and strengthening democracy in the best way possible for the good of all. He also expressed the magnitude of the national call through strategic engineers of a functional social, political, economic, and democratic order in Nigeria, adding that the benefit will be enjoyed by every Nigerian with immense and laudable sacrifices towards national progress. He further called on the group to sustain the call for national integrity, stressing that commitment to collective drive and strategic orientation would serve as a motivation to make Nigeria a unique and brighten the democratic ambitions of the country. Babangida stressed the important move of solidarity towards the promotion of national integrity and cohesion to make Nigeria greater. Suspected bandits who invaded a mosque at Saya village in the Ikara local government area of Kaduna State have killed 7 worshippers. Our correspondent gathered that the incident happened when Muslim worshippers were observing the Isha called the sunset prayers at the local mosque in the area. Eyewitness said 5 yet to be identified worshippers, including the vigilante leader, were gunned down by the hoodlums during the prayers. The village head of the community, Abdurrahman Yusuf, who confirmed the incident, said the head of the vigilantes in the village was among the victims killed inside the mosque, adding that the vigilante leader was trailed to the mosque where he and the other victims were shot and killed. Yusuf also said security had been beefed up in Ikara following the attack, while the acting police public relations officer in the state, Mansur Al-Hassan, confirmed the attack, adding that police personnel had been mobilized to comb nearby bushes with a view to fishing out the perpetrators of the dastardly act. In view of the increase in economic hardship associated with removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government and its attendant high prices of commodities, member representing Jere Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Engineer Ahmed Satomi, had contracted 15 filling stations within Jere LGA and Maiduguri Metropolitan Council to sell petrol at the cost of $4.30 per litre to motorists and riders. He disclosed this at one of the filling stations at Bulum Kutu area in Maiduguri, the state capital. The federal lawmaker, who is also the chairman House Committee on National Security and Intelligence at the House of Representatives, said the gesture, which kick-started on Saturday, 2nd September 2023, is a continuous process as 100,000 litres were dispensed over the weekend for motorists and riders irrespective of political affiliation. Satimi, however, called on well-to-do individuals and organizations to emulate the gesture so as to impact positively on the living condition of all Nigerians, adding that palliative should not be carried out by government alone to cushion the economic hardship, as it has initiated palliative for selling of petrol PMS at subsidized rate for the people, which have started in phases. The federal lawmaker therefore urged motorists and interested members of the public to be law-abiding and conduct themselves peacefully while accessing the products at the filling stations, as more of such palliative would be provided. 100 level course 9 police cadet A.S. Jika has allegedly died at the Nigerian Police Academy Wudil in Kano State after being continuously starved and suffered malnourished for over 2 weeks. Some of the cadets accused the Commandant Assistant Inspector General of Police Sadiq Abubakar of high-handedness and financial mismanagement of feeding allowance meant for the students. Jika, who hailed from Adamawa State and was in the Department of Computer Science, collapsed inside the toilet in the early hours of Saturday. A cadet who spoke on condition of anonymity to avoid being victimized said the victim was rushed to the academy's clinic and was left untreated because there are no drugs and no medical officer to attend to him in the unconducive environment before he died. Meanwhile, some staff members had complained about the diversion of monthly feeding allowance of the academy into private pockets, but some top officials, while the commandant AIG Abubakar is yet to respond to the matter. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Welcome back to the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Here is the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has invited all career and non-career ambassadors from their duty posts worldwide to Nigeria. The president's directive is sequel to his careful study of the president's state of affairs at Nigerian consulate offices and embassies worldwide, and in line with the president's renewed hope agenda. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, said the president is determined to ensure world-class efficiency and quality, including the characterized foreign and domestic service delivery to citizens, residents, and prospective visitors alike. The statement further directs that Nigeria's United Nations permanent representatives in the New York and Geneva be exempted from the total recall in view of the upcoming United Nations General Assembly holding later this month. It also said by the directive of the president, the recall of the affected officers takes effect immediately. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project says it has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Tinubu over the unlawful ban and withdrawal of the accreditations of 25 journalists and media houses from covering the presidential villa. This is coming after the federal government recently withdrew the accreditations of 25 journalists from covering activities at the presidential villa, Abuja. The affected journalists were reportedly told at the main gate of the presidential villa to submit the accreditation tags. But in a new lawsuit with the federal courts in Lagos, Serap says it is seeking an order to direct and compel President Tinubu to reverse the revocation of the accreditations and ban on 25 journalists and media houses from covering the presidential villa, while seeking for an order of perpetual injunction to restrain President Tinubu or any other authority, person, or group of persons from arbitrarily and unilaterally revoking the accreditations of any journalists and media houses from covering the presidential villa. Serap is also seeking a declaration that the withdrawal and revocation of accreditation tags and ban on the journalists and media houses from covering the presidential villa without any lawful justifications is inconsistent with the rights to freedom of expression, access to information, participation, and media freedom. In the suit, Serap is arguing that if not reversed, the arbitrary ban on the journalists from covering the presidential villa would open the door to other cases of arbitrariness and would restrict people's right to freedom of expression, access to information, participation, and media freedom. And here is the business news for tonight. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the federal government's expenditure has exceeded its revenue by 1.43 trillion naira in the first 3 months of 2023. It said economic report for the third quarter of 2023 reveals that it has 9.6% higher than the last quarter of 2022 figure. According to the report, the fiscal performance in 2023 quarter one was impaired by low oil revenue realization and retained revenue of the federal government by 10.7% relative to 2022, while the quarter four was 46.1% below the quarterly target. The federal government aggregate expenditure also declined by 1.3 and 36.0% relative to the preceding quarter and the quarterly target, respectively. Non-oil revenue continued to dominate government revenue, accounting for 61.4%, while oil receipts accounted for 38.6%. Oil revenue at 1.34 trillion declined by 3.0 and 43.5% relative to 2022 in the quarter four and quarterly target. Performance was indicative of the revenue shortfalls from petroleum profit tax and royalties following lower domestic crude production. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, says plans are underway to reintroduce the Empower scheme to accommodate more people and ensure prompt payment of beneficiary stipends. Edu disclosed this in a statement by her special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Rashid Zubair, in Abuja. The statement said, despite the challenges faced by the Empower beneficiaries in terms of delay in payment of their stipends, the federal government is prepared to give workable solutions. She also said the ministry plans to establish humanitarian hubs across the 774 local government areas in the country to guarantee a long-term goal towards eradicating poverty in Nigeria, adding that the hubs would accommodate homegrown commodities which would be sold at cheaper rates to Nigerians. The statement also said the ministry would send its staff to all the local government areas to get feedback in addition to engaging in digital tracking of palliatives, which is aimed at determining the time, location, household, and individuals. This is to ensure transparent and effective disbursement of palliatives. We also plan to bring on board independent monitors to ensure the relief materials reach those in need. You're still watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Here is the international stories. Israel Prime Minister is planning immediate deportation of Eritrean asylum seekers involved in riots in Tel Aviv. This is coming after about 170 people were injured in violent clashes with police and in infighting between groups of supporters and opponents of the Eritrean regime. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said a red line had been crossed and had also ordered a new plan to remove all African migrants that he described as illegal infiltrators. While unprecedented disorder began after activists opposed to the Eritrean government said that they had asked Israeli authorities to cancel an event organized by their country's embassy. They broke through a police barricade around the venue, which was then vandalized, and police in riot gear fired tear gas, stun grenades, and live rounds as officers on horseback tried to push the protesters away. An investigation has been opened into whether the use of live fire was within the law. The divisions within Eritrea over the rule of President Isaias Afwerki have spilled over into the diaspora, and this is the latest outbreak of violence in recent weeks. While residents said the streets of central Tel Aviv sounded like a war zone over several hours, with police helicopters hovering overhead and sirens blaring. President Putin's foreign policy strategy has also changed, and changed and the years leading up to the Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Diplomats lost their authorities, their role reduced to echoing the Kremlin's aggressive rhetoric. In October 2021, U.S. Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland went to a meeting at the Russian Foreign Ministry in Moscow, and the man across the table was Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, whom Ms. Nuland had known for decades and always got along with. Mr. Ryabkov's American counterpart saw him as a practical, calm negotiator and someone they could talk to even as the other country's relationship frayed. Mr. Ryabkov read Moscow's official position from a piece of paper and resisted Ms. Nuland's attempt to start a discussion. She described Mr. Ryabkov and one of his colleagues as robots with papers, while outside the negotiating room, Russian diplomats were using increasingly undiplomatic language. Here is entertainment news for tonight. Grammy-winning Nigerian singer Damini Ebunoluwa Ogulu, popularly known as Burna Boy, is the first artist to amass 1 billion streams on the digital music streaming platform Boomplay. He achieved the feat following the release of his 7th studio album, I Told Them, and the singer has amassed over 1 billion streams on the platform. Boomplay is the largest digital music streaming platform in Africa that was launched in 2015. Burna Boy is also the most followed artist on the platform with over 600,000 followers, while the African giant Crooner is the first Nigerian artist to surpass 1 billion career streams on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Audiomack, and Boomplay. American singer and actress Selena Gomez has been a fan of Nigerian Afrobeat star Rema even before they collaborated on the Calm Down remix. She said she first fell in love with Rema's songs Runaway before the rave lord contacted her for a remix of Calm Down. Gomez said she accepted to work with Rema because she loves his demeanor, stressing that she just want to take care of him. The 32-year-old superstar disclosed this in New York podcast. And here is the sports news for tonight. Rivers United forward Albert Cover has expressed his feeling on the maiden invitation by Liberia. Cover has been named in the Lone Star squad for the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Ghana and friendlies with Morocco. This is coming after the striker took to social media to celebrate his invitation by the West African nation. Cover wrote on his Twitter handle that all the glory belongs to God, adding that growing up as a kid and his greatest prayers was to represent his country, Liberia. Cover joined Rivers United from Liberia Premier League club Watanga FC last season and was named the best foreign player in the Nigerian Professional Football League in the 2023-2024 season. Chelsea ridiculed the move for James Maddison because of their recruitment policy. Maddison has since completed a £40 million move to Tottenham Hotspur, while on his arrival, the England midfielder has scored 2 Premier League goals and provided a number of assists. Chelsea have spent £1 billion in a little over 1 year, but did not splash out on Maddison, who suffered relegation with Leicester City last season and left the path clear for London rivals Tottenham to sweep in. The Blues opted against moving for Maddison as he does not fit the club's current recruitment model and claimed that the Blues were only looking to bring in players over the summer who are under 25 years of age, which rules Maddison out as he will turn 27 in November. Former Spain midfielder Juan Mata has signed from Vissel Kobe as a free agent. The Japanese club confirmed this, while Mata, a member of Spain's World Cup winning squad in South Africa in 2010, joined the Takayuki Yoshida coached side after leaving Turkish side Galatasaray over the summer. Kobe sits in second place in the J League standings. Kobe sits in the second place in the J League standings, 1 point behind leaders Yokohama F. Marinos. The play Kyoto Sango and knowing victory will take them to the top. Mata had been without a club since leaving Galatasaray and joined Kobe after earlier spells with Valencia, Chelsea and Manchester United. Former Chelsea star William Gallas says the club will win the Premier League without signing a striker. Chelsea enjoyed a huge amount of possession, their 70.8% against Nottingham Forest, but could not find the back of the net. The former France international believes the Blues are still lacking firepower, adding that despite some promising early signs from Nicholas Jackson, Gallas does not think he has what it takes to score 20-25 goals. This is coming after Chelsea were beaten 1-0 at Stamford Bridge by Nottingham Forest in the Premier League on Saturday. He told Gambling Zone that Chelsea need a striker, one striker, and maybe one experienced midfielder. And that's the global news for tonight. But before we go, here is another look at the major stories. Family decries pregnant woman's detention in police custody. PDP in Edo State wins all 18 seats in LGA polls. Suspected bandits in Kaduna State kill worshippers in mosque. Federal government plans to introduce Empower scheme. Israel Prime Minister plans deportation of Eritreans. Burna Boy is first artist to hit 1 billion streams. Rivers United star Koval speaks on Liberia invitation. I'm Vivian Douglas. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms. On X, we're Atlantic TV Net. On Instagram and TikTok, we're Atlantic TV Network 1. On Facebook and YouTube, we're Atlantic Television Network. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Good night.